Today, we are looking at the legal client journey, specifically what prospective clients actually do before they ever call a law firm. Welcome back to the Dominate Law Podcast. I'm your host, Don Disha. It's great to have you here. A lot of attorneys think of client acquisition as a straight line. Someone has a legal problem, they search for a lawyer, they find the firm, and they call it. But in reality, the journey is much more layered. Prospective clients are researching their issues, comparing firms, reading reviews, checking websites, looking for signs of trust, and deciding whether they feel confident enough to reach out. By the time they contact a firm, they may have already made several judgments about who feels credible and who does not. So today I'm joined by Naren Arulrajah, CEO of Ekwa Marketing and founder of the Dominate Law podcast, to walk us through that journey and show where law firms often lose prospective clients before the first conversation ever happens. Naren, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, the why your firm is invisible to AI and what to do about it. I think this has become extremely important question to answer because I talk to actual clients of mine and they tell me the people they get from AI have already decided to go with them. Like for example, we have an attorney who specializes in certain types of corporate matters, and that person was looking for that. And I don't remember the exact platform. Perhaps Google or ChatGPT said, "Hey, you should check out this particular law firm." You know what? He's already sold. So those people are coming in where the decision has been made for them, or they've already made the decision thanks to AI. For some reason, we are starting to trust AI. I don't know if it's good or bad, but AI says, turn left, a lot of people are turning left. So I think if you are a practice owner in 2026, you really need to master search and definitely AI search. And most practices, unfortunately, they don't show up. So they have to rely on ads. And, I do look at numbers. When you rely on ads, even Google ads, you're spending 10 times as much money to get the same amount of lift that you would with a strong search-based, AI search-based marketing program. Of course, the trust is such a big thing. And I think we are going to touch on that and why showing up organically where people trust you is the way to think about marketing in 2026.
Absolutely. Trust is such a human factor, even though AI is the buzzword of, I don't know, the decade perhaps. It's leading up to it for sure. So
So
let's take a look at,
I want to
yeah, go
comment.
ahead.
I want to comment on what you said about trust, right? Let's kind of break this, into smaller pieces that we can all digest. Most of us, when we call a lawyer, something is going wrong. Maybe a divorce, maybe we're getting sued, maybe we got into an accident and the insurance company is not doing what they're supposed to do. So we are under a lot of stress. When we are under stress, do we go with someone who put up an ad or do we go with someone we trust? Answer that question honestly, right? Let's say you have a family member who has stage 4 cancer. Are you going to go with somebody who runs an ad for, hey, we treat stage 4 cancers? Or are we going to find somebody that you trust, right? You're going to go looking really, really hard to find somebody that you trust. And most people today, they start with AI, Google, AI, search. And if those platforms are recommending you, the game is almost over. Like, in other words, the sale has already happened or the persuasion has already happened. So trust is so important. I mean, more so for anyone in the legal profession than, even in other professions. Yeah, if I'm, looking to buy some eyeglasses, trust may not be a big deal, right? Eyeglasses. Life is not at stake here. Nothing seriously is going to happen. Worst case, I lose $100, but that's it. As opposed to things that you lawyers handle, they do make a difference in somebody's life.
It's a huge difference. Let's talk a little bit about the classic way we used to look at trust digitally, and that is when we search our own name on Google, the practice's name, the firm's name, and we see our firm's ranking. Are we actually seeing what our client sees?
That's a great question. I know most people will type in their business name and see if they show up on Google or on ChatGPT, on one of these AI search platforms. But that's not how your potential clients are finding you. The ones who are typing your business name or your name, they already know you, they already trust you. So we want those who don't know you, who don't trust you, meaning your people who are not your existing clients or your friends or your fans. You want those people to find you, right? So they go to Google. Google, by the way, is used, just let me get the numbers right, 50 billion times a month. ChatGPT is used they don't really publish monthly numbers, but they say they are used 800 million times a week. So even if I multiply it by 4, that's 3.2 billion times, right? So anyways, so they're used around 5 billion times at the high end, and Google is used 500 billion times. So even today, Google is so big. This is why Google is the most valuable company behind NVIDIA in the world, worth $4.8 trillion. So you want to show up on Google, and Google has AI search, which is growing in leaps and bounds. So a lot of times you may have seen something called AI overview and then AI mode. AI overview is like Google giving you a direct answer. So I talk about my complex need and I say I'm looking for a lawyer. Google says, in a paragraph format, here are the top 2 people I would recommend, and this is why. So you are like, okay, let me call this first person that Google recommended, right? That's called AI overview. Now you can click on AI mode, which will go deeper and go even deeper analysis for you. So this is built right into Google. You don't have to download anything. You don't have to sign up for anything. People use Google 500 billion times a month, more than 14 to 15 billion times a day. So you get a huge lift. So that's where I would focus on. And you want to focus on for the questions people are asking. In the old days, it used to be, attorney near me, lawyer near me, or a family lawyer near me. So that's how the world used to work. But now they're sharing their specific situation and saying, who do you recommend I go see? So as they start doing these kind of things that AI is really good at, you want to be the one that's showing up. And I will get into trust signals, which is, I think, one of the questions you had that I looked ahead that we want to cover. So you want to work on trust signals, and trust signals are like, how does Google know if you are the one they should be recommending or not, right? And these have become really, really, really important in the AI world. So my standard is you need to at least show up for 100 different types of queries that your potential customers are typing in at any given time. The average practice doesn't even show up for 5 or 10. We do what we call a marketing strategy meeting before we help anybody, and most people we see in those meetings like don't even show up for the city name and the type of law that they do. But that's not enough. You have to show up for hundreds and hundreds, and many of our clients now with AI are showing up 300 times, 400 times. So you want to make sure you are dominating. So when it comes to trust, when people are looking for someone like you, there is you and then there is everybody else. When you start playing that game, the cost of acquiring a new client drops by a factor of 10. And these people are not second guessing you, not looking for, going to a different lawyer for a third opinion, right? So life becomes easy. You get to do fun stuff that you enjoy doing.
Okay, a really interesting perspective and mindset shift you just started there. You don't want new cases that already know you by your firm's name. You really want them to find you out for what you do and how your skills can really come into play and solve their problems. Now, let's talk a little bit about the connection between a firm's existing content, reviews, and whether they get cited by AI platforms.
Yes. Before I talk about that, let me talk about what I alluded to in my last answer, trust signals. So what are they and why are they important? At the end of the day, these search platforms, Google being the 95% market share leader, or ChatGPT or Perplexity, they want to make sure that the recommendation they are making makes the customer happy. So they are looking to make sure that you are the person they should be recommending. So how do they figure that out? Reviews is one of the things they look at. But before that, before they even look at review, they're looking for some basic things like NAB. NAB stands for name, address, phone number. If your business name and address and phone numbers are consistently mentioned in dozens and dozens of platforms, that's a good thing. That means you are an established provider, you pay attention to your brand, and you really work hard on preserving and building that brand. Unfortunately, when we do this marketing strategy meeting, 80% of our clients, nobody's doing this on their behalf, so it sucks. Meaning their business name is not consistent even between their website and their Google My Business page. But just those 2 sites being consistent is not enough. You have to make it consistent across dozens and dozens of these sites that Google is looking at to decide if you are someone trustworthy. Another thing that has become really more important in 2026 when it comes to trust is the credentials you have, right? The degrees, the diplomas. Are you mentioning those the right way? It's called Google EEAT. So Google, when they read it, they know it's not some random person saying this. It's a really qualified, experienced lawyer with specific qualifications saying that. So of course, Google is like thinking, if I'm going to surface an answer, would I surface it from someone who's qualified, someone who has the credentials, or anybody else? Of course, they're going to favor the person who has earned that EAT points by doing all the things that Google is telling them to do. So that's another way to think about trust. And finally, reviews, right? Those reviews, again, if you link the website to your Google My Business page and you do all the things Google is telling you, can also become currency, because Google wants to make sure the person is going to be happy. So if you're getting reviews, I recommend getting 10 or more reviews every month. Make sure Google can link it to your website. Make sure Google can use that information to get you to show up, like I said, 100 plus times on Google Maps, on AI search, on regular search. So let me answer your question about reviews, right? And why reviews are becoming more important. Remember, like I said, the actual client that I was referring to, they had a potential customer who came in because they read something on, I think it was Google or ChatGPT, and they were recommended to go see this particular lawyer for that particular need they had, a specialized field. This lawyer, we had created content for them, and Google therefore realized or saw them as the expert in that type of situation, and they recommended directly, like, go see Mr. Smith at this law firm. And that was so powerful. Like, people just, it's like sale was already happened. Like, they're like, Mr. Smith, where's your retainer, right? That's the conversation versus convince me that you are the right person, right? So a lot of the convincing, thanks to AI, is now happening. So reviews, it becomes important because it is one of those things that Google is also looking at to see, are you getting recent reviews? Are you getting, consistent new reviews coming in? And are these like deep reviews, meaning they're paragraph reviews where people are explaining why they come to your law firm, why they appreciate your law firm, and why they would recommend it to others. So reviews is something you need to work on. At least if you're not getting any reviews, at least set a goal of getting 5 reviews a month. Of course, if you're getting a few reviews, try to set a goal of 10 reviews a month. We have a whole program that we offer to our clients and we help our clients with. You have to ask your happy clients to do these things. Of course, if some people don't want to share their personal information about what the case is, that's okay. They can share what they're comfortable with, right? They can endorse you as a lawyer. They can endorse your firm as a law firm without getting to the nuances of their cases. So all these things take nuance, take specific ways of doing things. And that's something we also help our clients with, because just because we can get them to show up on Google, if they're not trusted, those people won't convert.
That's right. Now, if a law firm owner wanted to do a quick self-audit today to see how they showed up in an AI search, where would they start?
Yeah, I mean, start Googling, let's say you are a family lawyer, family lawyer who specializes in child custodies in Chicago. See if you show up in AI overview, on Google, in regular search, on Google Maps, right? You can even type in like family lawyer near me. Of course, I'm using family lawyer as an example. It could be anything you want it to be, right? Car accident with serious injury, lawyer in Chicago, right? See what happens. Are you showing up? And you can search for like dozens and dozens of these search phrases to see, are you at the top of Google results? Again, not ads, organically. Why? Like I said, when trust is at stake, people are choosing someone they trust. They don't want to go to somebody who is so bad that the only way they're getting customers is by running ads, right? So you don't want to send them the signal. You are just like everybody else, like one of those, all the images we have from movies and whatnot about the lawyers who are just chasing you, right? You don't want that. You don't want to be chasing them with an ad. You want to be the one that's trustworthy and that shows up organically. So start seeing how you're showing up. Like I said, the benchmark should be at least 100 or more phrases and keywords in your community, in your city, in your zip code, all the different things you do, you better show up. And that's the benchmark we work towards. And, we get our clients doing that by the end of year 1. So within 12 months. It's not easy. We put like 600 hours worth of work. There's a lot of nuances, a lot of details. But if you do it right, it works.
Okay. Now, for our attorneys listening in that are really, packed up tight and are busy, who aren't sure if their marketing is set up for how clients actually search in 2026, what would you recommend as a first step?
Yeah, I think I alluded to the marketing strategy meeting, dominatelaw.com/MSM for marketing strategy meeting. Dominate Law, right? We want our clients to dominate. We only work with one client in an area and we help them crush the competition. I know a lot of lawyers have that mindset of dominating. So that's what we do for our clients. Again, we very much specialize on search, AI search, Google Maps, everything to do with search. Like I said, people use it 500 billion times a month. So we want to make sure our clients in their community are the ones dominating. So what we do in this marketing strategy meeting, it's a $900 value. We spend 6 hours before the meeting looking at you, all the different search phrases and all the different things that people might be looking for, and seeing if you are the one they see or it's your competition is who they see. And then we also look at the top players in the market, right? Usually, in my experience, having done this for 19 years, there are a few who do really well and everybody else sucks. And the few could be 5, could be 10, could be 2, doesn't matter, depends on the area and the competition. But you want to be get into that top club. You want to get into that top club that is ranking for 100 or more keywords. And the way we do it is, I kind of alluded to it, right? We put 200 hours worth of work up front, then 30 plus hours a month, the NAP work, the original content work, EEAT work, all the things that these search platforms are telling us to pay attention to, we pay attention to them. We have different teams of people paying attention to each component. And when we do this over time, things start changing, things start getting better. So that's, really how I think about marketing. So book that marketing strategy meeting. It's our gift to you. At the very least, you will get a plan. You will get a report card on how you are doing and who your top competitors are and how they are doing. And that, I think, would be really, really valuable. But at least now you know where you stand and what you can and cannot do, right? So it takes a year, so it's not going to be quick, but we have seen results stack up within months if your competition is weak. And unfortunately, a lot of lawyers still spend a lot of money on ads. I wouldn't recommend ads for the issue I talked about with trust, right? You're getting people who don't trust you and you're having these contentious relationships. They're not listening to you. They're like hard clients. And for every 4 or 5 you go through, you will only get 1 because everybody else, because they don't trust you because of the fact that they found you through ads, they don't even become your long-term clients.
All right. Thank you very much, Naren Arulrajah.